So should you twist when you have a diastasis recti? Well, the answer is maybe, and it all depends on the person and how they're presenting. So let's go through a few scenarios and see if that's helpful for understanding when you should twist and when you shouldn't twist. Now, if someone is very newly postpartum, I kind of consider this a little bit more of a vulnerable time for that midline and the tissue because it's new and healing in that early postpartum period. So what we're going to want to do is use a little bit of extra caution during this time. And this may be where I limit rotation depending on the severity of their diastasis, or I'm just careful about how I do rotation. So I might really focus on thoracic rotation and limit lumbar rotation. Because when we think about that diastasis, and we think about it being between our rib cage and our pubic bone, and usually it's worse somewhere in here. And when we think about thoracic rotation, we think about our thoracic spine, which is lining up with our rib cage. So when we think about mobility, we want to think more mobility through our rib cage area, through our spine, our thoracic spine, and less through our belly button area, less through our lumbar spine. So a lot of people have decreased thoracic mobility, so it's often just a really good thing to want to work on anyway. Now, one of the tricks that you can use for that is bringing in the adductors. So if you add a squeeze to an exercise, so I'm going to place the block between my knees and squeeze my inner thighs, and what that'll help do is decrease the amount that I can move from my lumbar spine. So it's going to help act as a block as I squeeze, and then I'm going to get primarily thoracic rotation. If I get rid of this and get rid of that adductor squeeze, then hey, I can just rotate through everywhere. You can do the same thing for lying down, side lying rotation. Any type of rotation where you can bring in those adductors are going to help block that lumbar spine and decrease that mobility a little bit and focus on mobility through the thoracic spine. Now, if somebody's a little bit later into that diastasis healing process, I might not worry at all. You know, it depends on their strategies, what their diastasis looks like, and how they're loading and how they're handling pressure. And it's because we need a lot of stimulation the further out you get from that postpartum period for helping to heal a diastasis recti. So it might be that the person actually needs quite a bit of stimulus to get some change to the soft tissue in that area. So I'm going to go with it all depends at that point in time. But give that a try. I think most people in general need more thoracic mobility anyway. So incorporating really good thoracic mobility into their workload is only going to be helpful.